Welcome to another episode of Approved AF, the Mortgage Licensing Podcast, where we cut through the chaos of compliance and give you real stories, strategies, and insights to grow your mortgage business without burning out. I'm your host, Catalina Stepanoff, and today we are sitting down with Abdul, the CEO from LoanSpot. From immigrant hustle to building a thriving Chicago mortgage brokerage, Abdul shares how legacy, community, and keeping things quick, clean, and easy have fueled his business growth. So let's dive in. Hi, Abdul. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
For listeners who might not know you yet, can you give us a quick intro into what LoanSpot is all about?
Yes. So LoanSpot's my company. We're a mortgage broker based out of Illinois, mostly Chicagoland area and the suburbs, right? I started the company early 2023. I was a big mortgage banker guy. I was a guarantee rate for many years. Another mortgage banker prior to that, and then a broker when I first got into the industry. So it only felt natural that, when things became chaotic and people were leaving industry in 2023, I wanted to go right back to being a broker. So LoanSpot's my company. We're a mortgage broker here in Chicago. And, we do what brokers do, which is help clients close on homes with the best rate and lowest fees.
So I'm assuming you didn't wake up one morning wanting to be a mortgage broker because everybody just seems to fall into this industry. What was it that brought you into the mortgage industry, and what brought you and motivated you to take the leap of business ownership rather than working for somebody else?
Yeah, that's a good question. What brought me in is a two-part question. So what brought me in is that I actually didn't. So I came to this country back in 2003, right? So I'm an immigrant from Nigeria. My parents came in the 90s. They wanted some sort of visa or whatever, and came into the country to, better life, right? And eventually when they could bring me and my sister here, they brought us here, got us our citizenship and so many other things, got us settled. But my parents are Nigerians. And if you know a lot of Nigerians, they want their kids to be three things: lawyers, engineers, or doctors. You don't even have a choice.
Yep.
Yeah. And now I think they're allowing nursing, but when I wasn't thinking, So my mom, she's a nurse. She works in healthcare, and she heavily wanted me to be a doctor. So from a young age, they just pushed healthcare on me, any form of healthcare, really. So they just pushed it on me. And I went to school. I went to undergrad. And as I was going through all of that, while I was in college and going to college full time, I couldn't get a job. I have a pretty unique name. It's like Abdul Erinfolami for my full name. And I think that maybe contributed. I'm not 100% sure, but I found it very hard to get a job that worked with my full-time schedule. So the only job I could get was as a personal trainer at a gym. And the only reason they hired me is because they weren't paying salary or hourly income. They just how you got paid was pure commission. So you eat what you kill is kind of how it is. And, I've been working out there for years, and they saw me and they're like, 18 years old, you look fit. Sure. Get out there, and they just gave me a sheet to read and cold call or welcome people in and give them free sessions to try and upsell. Right. So I just got used to living off commission, but I got used to providing value to the clients I was working with. Right. So I got to a point in school where I was just like, I don't really want to go into medicine. I have no passion for it. I can't stand the sight of blood. This isn't for me, right?
That blood thing might be a make or break for a doctor.
Yeah, and I heard that too, but a lot of people sometimes say they get over it. But it wasn't for me. I had more of an entrepreneur spirit. I was reading Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. I was watching Grant Cardone's YouTube channel. I was watching Stephen Graham's YouTube channel. So real estate has always been at the top of my head, thinking, okay, we're immigrants here. We don't have any support system. We want to build a legacy for the next generation. And when you Google a lot of stuff for that, real estate pops up. So I knew I wanted to invest, right? And I had just closed on my first condo when I was 21 years old. So I learned the process just a little bit, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I was talking to my mentor, and he was like, well, you're young. This is the best time if you're going to switch or jump or do anything different to explore that, right? At 21 or 22 at the time. And he was like, I'm going to introduce you to a mortgage company owner. He owns his own broker shop out of like Andersonville, which is where I was at the time, or lived in Chicago. And he introduced us. He sold me the moon, the sun and the moon, right? He was like, you're making $500,000 right off the bat, which was not true. But it was enough to get me in. And I was like, okay, and I studied under him for a couple months. I was like kind of an intern for him. And then I got recruited by two other mortgage companies. And what made me want to start my own shop was it was never about the money. I've always had real estate investing at the top of my head, and I've been buying since I was 21. So I like being in the financial space. I like being around other real estate agents. I can learn from them, But I also wanted something that I can leave a legacy behind. And I feel like mortgages, I was already in it. Now it was time for me to own where I worked, right? And being a broker is the easiest way to start, right? Because there's so much more requirements for bankers than brokers, but broker is kind of like a good entryway until you're big enough to, upgrade to the next level. And I looked into it, obviously consulted you guys because I had no idea what to do. And you guys did a lot of the legwork, which was great because I was like, I'm not putting all this together. There's so much stress. So you guys did a lot of lead work for me. And once it opened and everything, like my thought pattern has always been, how do I grow LoanSpot? How do I make it my legacy? How do I, if my kids are interested in the future, I don't have any, but they want to join, they could kind of take it over and do their own thing. So I've always had legacy as top of mind. And I get asked all the time, a lot of people, especially in 2023, was like, why would you start a broker shop? Like everyone's losing money right now. And I was just like, well, I've got nothing to lose. I'm an immigrant. I don't have something to fall back on. So if you start off from low ground, I mean, there's the only way to go is up, right? So to me, it wasn't really a risk because I knew I could never get to the poverty level I had in Nigeria. And it's America and anything can happen. So it was kind of like, all right, let's do it. Let's jump.
My husband also is an immigrant. He came over here when he was like 15 with his mom. So that entrepreneurial spirit is something that resonates very, very closely with me, and obviously more so with him. But that's something that he's trying to build into our kids as well. So it's very interesting to hear that from your perspective. But yes, it's something that he says very often to me and to the kids is like, try something, fail fast, learn from it, and then keep going.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I hear that very much. You keep mentioning the term legacy. Is that kind of one of the core beliefs that you've built your business around?
100%. I would say probably the first thing I think of every morning I wake up. It's different when you're not like a natural born American and you come from a place of scarcity, right? Your number one thought, or at least most immigrants I know, is how do I make sure the next generation has it better, right? Like I want my kids to never have, eat syrup sandwiches for dinner or worry about where their next food is coming from, or if mom and dad's going to be home to put them to bed because they're working 80 hours this week, So that's always been a number one thought in my head. So legacy is highly important to me. I don't have kids yet, right? But it's highly important to me because I want to make sure I set up the next generation for success. And whether that's through real estate investing or through mortgage financing or through LoanSpot, whatever it is, but I know LoanSpot is the vehicle that's going to get me to prepare the next generation for something much better than I had.
Absolutely. How would you describe the overall mission and purpose at LoanSpot beyond just closing loans?
Yeah. I would say as of right now, we got a tight-knit crew. We've got about total 9 people, right? From like operations to loan officers. The overall mission right now is to continue growing, right? We have got the slogan, quick, clean, and easy, and everybody, laughs at it. But when I first started in the industry, like I would have clients come to me. We even had one yesterday that worked with another lender, and they're just super dismissive of me. And I remember this when I got my first mortgages through Chase Bank, and I just walked in the bank because I thought that's what you did, and it took like 2 months to close, even though I was very clean, cookie cutter, conventional buyer, right?
Mm-hmm.
And not many communication happened, like just bad communication. And my loan was like 170,000, so they probably didn't care,
Right.
But I wanted
But
to
you cared.
of course, yeah. So I wanted to change that at Lone Spot. I'm very known and my team too for being analytical and very like straightforward and like getting figures and stuff to our clients and educating them. Like I
Right.
wanted us to be able to educate people first of all, because a lot of people are nervous and they don't do what we do on a daily basis. So we need to make it seem as if like it's everyone can do it, like it's quick, clean, and easy. Like really just like put it to a section where we can have a 15-minute conversation with them and they're like, okay, I feel old and like I know what I'm doing and I trust you guys and you've explained and let's work together, you know? So that's always been a key mission for Lone Spot, not to overcomplicate mortgage, not to make people feel like, they don't understand or they're dumb or anxious. Like we want to get rid of that, right? So that's important. The other aspect is growth too. Like Lone Star right now is a mortgage broker, but I eventually want to get to a point where we become bankers ourselves, right? Where we can fund our own loans, help more people purchase homes and close on them. Like I want to be able to work with someone's mom, son, and grandson, right? Over the next 30 to 50 years, right? So that's the kind of something we want to look forward to future wise as we continue growing and adding more people to our team and doing more, value and stuff. And then eventually I want to get to a point where, we have auxiliary options to Low Spot where like the biggest mortgage company in Chicago right now, Guarantee Rate or Rate, has been around for, over 20 years now. And they have a foundation where they donate money and they help people and do other stuff. Like they're cemented into Chicago. There's a stadium here with their name on it. Like they're doing so much in this city. I want to get to a point where Lone Spot is like that, where we're giving back in some sort of way or just doing something where it's not just, a for-profit business to make money, but like there's more nuances to it, than just closing loans. So those are kind of three aspects that like I'm thinking long-term wise, vision-wise.
Hmm. Can you share an example where a community relationship led you to an unexpected business partnership? Because I know you're integrated a lot with the community that you surround yourself with.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Um, I would say one that I can think of off the top of my head is I do a lot of business with the church I grew up going to, right? A lot of people, and especially a lot of loan officers, tend to think like the only way to get business is through real estate agents, and that's it, right? Where I've been able to get business and my team members through hosting home buyer events exclusive to consumers, or going to a church, being a part of that church, going to the small groups, showing up every Sunday, like being incorporated in it or growing up in it, right? That could lead to referrals because at the end of the day, people do business with who they trust, right? Who
Yes.
they like. So if they like you and trust you, they don't really ask a lot of questions. They just know you'll take care of them, right? So that's helped me. And then also partnering with business owners near you, like in the neighborhood you live in, is super helpful for a loan officer because those business owners see hundreds of people a day, right? So if you host an event at their shop or at their location and you promote them, guess what? They're going to promote you too because you're helping them, right? So I've done a couple with like gyms or like workout spaces or a coffee place or a nutrition shop where now people are coming in to get a healthy aspect, right? And they're meeting more people that they can reach out to and market to. But then they're like, wow, this guy's bringing in so much people. Let's help him with referrals or shout him out at the shop. So that's what's helped me grow my business. Majority still come from real estate agents because most people want to, talk to an agent first because they have access to the house they want. But there's more than one way to get business than just real estate agents. And that's literally like putting yourself out there. And like, I always tell myself to go out to at least 2 networking events a week or do something community wise once or twice a week.
Yeah, no, that's very true, and it's for a lot of people that might be moving outside of their comfort zone. So, what what was something that you did to just get started in networking more with their community, or how did you ask that first person or business, like, can we partner together for a community event?
Um, it's going to sound so simple, but you literally just go and ask them. Like, well, what I've noticed is go with a mindset of like, how can I help you? Because automatically, as soon as you help somebody, they like feel indebted, like they want to help you too, So
Yeah.
don't go with the mindset or of like, I need this because I need to make this X amount of money or right? So if you go there and you're like, I love your place. You guys are awesome. Do you have a social media? I want to share your stuff. Like I want to get more people to come to your business or I want to get more people to attend more church stuff or small groups or like, the church basketball thing. Like, look, you go with a place of like, Like, how do I help you? How do I contribute? Right. And then naturally, what I've noticed is people then will look into you. Like, I usually never even tell people I'm in mortgages. Like, they just find you on social media and they know what you do. Like, you don't have to tell them, right? So if you're helping them, automatically they'll think about you. And then with my social media guy posting so many stuff, like, multiple times a week, then we stay top of mind, getting that like mental real estate.
That's so true. Kyle Draper actually talks about that quite a lot, is like when you're marketing or doing anything, you're not selling. You're just showing like, how can I serve you?
Yeah.
And am I serving you well with the information that I'm putting out here? Because if you're constantly, hey, I do this and I'm this person, it turns people off rather than them getting to know you and saying, I like you, I like what you do, and I want to work with you.
Yep. Yep. Yeah. And I used to be that way. Like when I first got in the industry, it was like, I do this, I do this. These are the loan programs that I have, and I'm the best at it. And then when I stopped doing that and I started focusing, even in realtors, like I was just like, hey, I see you like pickleball, or I see you like this. Let's hang out. Like, let's do
Yeah.
this together. Like, people need to know you first, get to like you. And then they'll ask about your loan programs and all that stuff down the road. But if they don't know you and that's the first approach, like you're not coming from a place of like, how can I help you? It's not a sustaining relationship.
Yeah. That's so true.
Yeah.
So kind of positioning and switching gears, can we talk about scaling and how you approach licensing strategically as you've grown LoanSpot?
Oh, yeah. Good question. So right now we're in Illinois, Indiana, Wisconsin, Florida, Michigan, and then we just got Texas. So that's 6 right now. Obviously we chose Illinois, Wisconsin, Indiana because it's next door. It's within like 2-hour drive. And a lot of people that leave Illinois will either go to one or both, right? Because it's, lower taxes, prices are a little bit better depending where they're coming from. Michigan was an acquisition based off a loan officer we recruited at the time, right? He lived in Michigan. So like what I've learned is in terms of recruiting in other states, the best way to do so is to find people who are already there, who already have a presence, who are already doing business, and try and see how can we help them, right? Do you have, high interest rates? This is what ours looks like. Does this work for you? Or is your compensation too low? This is what we can offer you. Does this work for you? Like, and then obviously the energy has to match, right? We have to have alignment in terms of like future goals. It can't just be bringing somebody else because they want to make more money, right? So that's kind of how we've done it so far. And so it's a mixture of like finding states that people are relocating to from Illinois. So like Florida is a huge one, and Texas. Like a lot of people are either going to Florida or Texas if they want something warmer, right? Or if they want to still stay in the Midwest, sort of, they'll, just go straight to Indiana, which is next door, or go to Wisconsin. Or if they have family in Michigan or they want a second home in Michigan, that's a common thing. So far, that's how we've done it in terms of growth, like expanding. We focus on loan officers that we mesh with in those other states to expand there. I know we focus on relocation for people, like in terms of clientele and stuff like that.
Did you look at getting all of them all at once, all of your licenses all at once, or did you strategically parcel it out, not necessarily even based off of your team members, but was there any other factors that kind of went into that decision-making process?
So as of late, it's been more of the team member, right? But at the very beginning, I just had Illinois, Indiana, and Florida, right? In the first 2 years of my career. And I just got those because it just made sense. People left Illinois for Indiana because lower taxes, or people went to Florida or bought a second home in Florida. So that's what that was based off. And then obviously the acquisition through team members came when I started LoanSpot, because now I'm like, okay, how do we expand this business, right? I will say the mistake I made once when I tried to expand to another state is physically going. It is so taxing. Look, it's just like, it was one in particular that took 3 hours to drive to, 3 hours to drive back. Then I had to charge my car in between. So I was looking at 7 to 8 hours, calls in between, eating in the car. And I was just like, this does not make sense. And that's when my mind started thinking, ding, 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 just find someone that lives there and visit them at least once every other week.
Yeah.
That helped me so much better.
How do you feel that licensing ties into your overall growth strategy? Do you see it as an expense, as an investment, or just a must?
Yeah. Mixture of must and investment, I would say, because it's an investment in those states to hopefully, obviously earn revenue from closing loans in those states. But we usually approach the next state based off what makes sense, right?
Mhm.
So like the most recent one for Texas made sense because we looked back and how many leads we had received in the past 2 years that had asked for Texas, and we referred to another LO at a different company. And I'm like, okay, we have to stop. We should just get Texas at this point because it seems like a massive booming emerging. I mean, it's not even emerging anymore. It's already there. Lots
Yeah.
of construction and so many other things. I mean, licensing in terms of like you guys helping to coordinate all the specifics needed and like details of like what we need to do to keep it going helps, right? Having like a third party or some sort of licensing company kind of weigh in on that is huge because I can't do it all, right? I mean, I've had a director of operation, my number two guy, John Tupas, and he handles like keeping the show running, right? That's his job. The guy loves to be in front of a computer screen 12 hours a day. I love being out, kissing babies and shaking. So it kind of works that dynamic.
Yeah. If you were talking to a broker who's just getting started, what would be something that you would tell them to consider as they're looking at acquiring different states or expanding their licensing footprint?
Yeah, I would say don't expand too fast, right? I would say in terms of getting their license, obviously the state you're already in doing business would be first, right? And really double down on that state. I mean, I know loan officers that are easily closing over $100 million a year in loans, which is extremely impressive, but only have one state license. Like,
Wow.
yes, you don't necessarily need 30 something licenses or so. Like, if you're prominent in one state, just double down on it, right? I would say is based on my mindset now, where it makes sense to expand to other states is if you're getting a high demand for it, like we were for Texas, or if you're looking to expand your team into other states, right? And you're looking to acquire another company or acquire a few, talented people, or even just one person, then branch out to that other state. But besides those other two, just focus on your current state and just double down.
Yeah, I really like that. It's staying focused and staying present and moving strategically when it's appropriate.
Yeah.
How do you balance being present in your community? Because again, you're doing so many community events, or at least it seems that way to me,
Yeah.
and still growing and running and operating a business because that obviously takes time. And as you're building out your team, how do you go about doing that?
It's just I would say getting the right people and hiring right. Because the first year in the business that I had Bone Spot, at least, I was doing a lot on my own. Like it was so stressful. It was terrible. And it took time to find the right people. And sometimes we interchange and find new people, right? Or let go of somebody and move on to somebody else, right? But the number one thing I would say is find a fantastic number two person, right? There might not be you. Make sure they're at least 60 to 70% you, right? So find a fantastic number two and make sure they have qualities that you kind of lack. Like John, who's my number two, is attention to detail guy, like extremely attention to detail. He will muddle over something for hours before he releases it. I'm a quick decision maker. I make decisions in seconds, right? Because my mind thinks of whatever the item is or whatever the task is, and I say, well, we have option 1, 2, 3. This is the most probable. Let's go with this one first. Bam, right? So you need that because you need people like me who can make decisions quickly and they'll maul. But you also need someone like John who there's certain clients or certain referral partners that need that like breakdown of everything. Or even like John has experience training and coaching people. I do not. I'm very much like find someone who's already good at what they do, right? And then hire them and do what you do. Like I'm not gonna like micromanage or show you what to do. Just figure it out. Whereas John is like, no, no, no. This is your start date. This is what we do day 1. This is what we do day 2. Very minute attention to detail. So that helps quite a lot because then it helps me be present and do what I like to do, like go out, do stuff, secure the leads, secure the relationship partnerships, and having a great, fantastic number two who like literally pays attention to all those small little things. And that's the first thing. And then, get good supporting staffs after. And then I would say a major lesson that I learned since starting my own business 2.5 years ago now is fire fast. If someone isn't fitting like the culture, if they're rude or they're mean, or like they're just not, the aptitude isn't there and they're not registering the things you're teaching them, like don't try and hold on to them forever. Like there might just not be a good fit. Like, be ready to like let them go quick in like the nicest way and really explain so you mutually understand. But that's something I struggled with at the very beginning. I think most business owners in the beginning do as well, because they're trying to like, they're doing it with their heart when they should think about how do we stay and sustain ourselves long term.
Yeah, balancing that mind for business and that heart for people is a very hard thing for a lot of CEOs to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
What and kind of going off of that, what mindset or daily habit have you integrated that helps you stay grounded and focused regardless of the day?
Yeah. So I've been doing this since I graduated high school, since I was 18. What helps me start my day? So I'm not a coffee drinker. I don't drink any caffeine. What else? I don't take any pre-workout or anything like energizer wise. My scarcity mindset literally wakes me up. So I wake up at 6 a.m. Monday through Saturday. I'm at the gym by 7, and then I'm outside of the gym done by 8 a.m. Right? I'm home by 8:30, shower, eat breakfast in front of my computer by 9 a.m., ready to start my day. Right? So that's
Mhm.
what I do Monday through Saturday. And I rarely pivot from it unless like I'm on vacation or like something is like keeping me from doing it, right? Or a convention, I have to be there early. But if I'm in my element at home to get my mindset started for the day, that's what I do. And I do my absolute best, and I'm still working on it, to not respond to things during that pre-morning ritual, because I want to get my mindset focused on just like, this is what I'm doing, right? So that's
Yeah.
all the habit that I do and just gets me going, because if I don't do that, my day is all screwed up, you know? So I have to start that early in the morning because it like sets up the rest of my day.
That is so important to take that first hour or so to invest back into yourself so that you can then pour out for other people. And so many times I think we lead from an empty bucket of just giving to other people. When I'm talking for myself, is like you go, oh, maybe if I just skip this piece of it and get started earlier, I can do just a little bit more,
Yeah.
and you burn yourself out. So it's really important to start your day right. I'm just absolutely floored at the caffeine thing, but power to you on that one.
It's not even by decision. I have a sensitive stomach, and certain things I can't like drink or eat. Like caffeine, one of them. Protein shakes, can't do it either. Like my body literally rejects certain things. And then people are like, I'm so impressed. I'm like, no, I would die. Like my stomach so much if I drank coffee. Like that's why I don't do it. It's just by design, you know?
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Um, okay, so again, going back to our example of a new mortgage broker who's just getting started in the business,
Mhm.
but they're feeling just stuck. They don't know what to do to kind of get themselves to that next level. What would you suggest that they do?
Oh, that's a good one. Whether they're a new loan officer working at a company or they're starting their own broker shop, I mean, this is probably more closely related to someone brand new. I grew up in a very strict, structured household, right? So this was easy for me to adopt. There's this training back then called the core training. And essentially what they do is just create daily activities for yourself, right? Monday through Saturday, you will do these tasks 3 hours at a time, right? And Monday was 40 realtor phone calls, like obviously people you want to do business with, but also get to know. Right? Tuesday was Tuesday follow-up calls. Wednesday was pre-approval calls. Thursdays were 7-day past client calls, or if you didn't have any clients, try and reach out to like VIPs, people like attorneys or auxiliary outside businesses outside of like realtor and stuff, to network with them, right? And if Fridays were kind of like a mixture, it could be anything from like asking for client reviews to like, going to a networking event, blah, blah, blah. But like you set something for you to do where you are prospecting a minimum of 3 hours per day, right? And then you're going to do this for so long that business just comes from it. Like a lot of people think it's a secret to get leads in business, and it's not. It's literally just like choosing an activity to do per day for a minimum of 3 hours, and then business eventually just comes. Like I've known realtors who are at certain companies that are like, when I first got in, they told me to talk to 20 people a day about real estate. And they did that for 5 years straight, and bam, they're closing like 30 million a year in business, and they don't even have time to talk to 20 people per day for prospecting anymore. But a lot of people feel like it's such a secret, and it's not. It's just like compound effect. And if you live, breathe the real estate or live, breathe the mortgages 3 hours a day on minimum for prospecting, it just eventually, like before you know it, you'll be walking down the street and someone, it's like a majestic thing. Someone would be like, I need a mortgage. And you're like, actually, it's
I
so
do that.
right? And I'm not a big universe or energy type person whatsoever, but it's kind of odd that like if you put so much of your attention into something, it just comes to you. So for brand new people, I would say, look up that core training or just design tasks for yourself. Something as simple as I'm going to talk to 20 people per day about real estate, not call 20 people, actually connect with them about real estate or about mortgages, and then watch your business start to flourish.
It's kind of like stay consistent, showing up for the person that you want to be, the company that you want to have, and doing that, it will come.
Oh, yeah.
So thank you for taking the time to talk with me today. I really appreciate your insights. If people want to connect with you, follow along on your journey, where can they and where should they be following LoanSpot?
Everything. So like Instagram, Facebook, so mine is Abdul the Loan Guy. So that's pretty easy to find on any platform. Besides X, I don't think I have X anymore, but every other platform but that. And in LoanSpot, we're on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. So it's just LoanSpot Inc. And you'll find us easily. Even if you just Google LoanSpot Inc. or Google Abdul the Loan Guy, you'll find it.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Abdul.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
All right, that does it for this episode of Approved AF, the Mortgage Licensing Podcast. If you enjoyed today's conversation, make sure that you follow us on Instagram at ApprovedAF_licensing. Don't forget to leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you're listening so more mortgage pros can find us. Like and subscribe for more real-world tips and stories. Thanks for tuning in, and remember, stay licensed, stay compliant, and stay approved AF.